As with most things, success starts with the right attitude, value system, and ideas. And today, as we do every day, we're giving you information to help spark and nurture your own brand of success. Hi there, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for making it Jamaica Magazine. Today's pages feature opportunities coming on the government Shipping and Logistics Hub initiative. Plus, we'll take you on the construction site of the north-south leg of Highway 2000. That's linking major towns on the north coast with other commercial areas in the south. Also, the Port Royal Underwater City is one of the many cultural and heritage sites offering tourists something more than sun, sand, and sea. Sit back and relax for these and more as we turn the pages of Jamaica Magazine.
I had a plan for my life. I was going to be a doctor. I was going to be the first in my family to do great things. Then a friend of mine sold me into prostitution. You mash up my life.
Stop human trafficking. It destroys lives. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of human trafficking, call 811 or 1-888-PROTECT. Be wise. Open your eyes. Spot them. Stop them. A message brought to you by the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons.
New industries are expected to emerge as Jamaica develops to become the fourth node in the global logistics and supply chain. Now, the new businesses will create expanded opportunities for entrepreneurship and employment. We've got more on those possibilities in this feature.
Transnational corporations are seeking more cost-effective ways of doing business. The integration of shipping and logistics hubs with industrial zones is evolving as the less expensive new mode of moving products to consumers, and Jamaica is establishing itself as the fourth node in the global chain.
We're talking about a concentration of entities engaged in global commerce using our transportation infrastructure.
And creating more avenues for Jamaicans to access high-skill level, globally competitive, lucrative employment options. Jamaica's Logistics Hub initiative provides the local business sector with a near-shore distribution advantage, a base for generating enormous cargo flows, either as raw material, intermediate or finished goods, to the world's largest consumer markets.
What we offer is a shorter distance to market. We offer it at a lower cost. So instead of somebody ordering something, a manufacturer, a business, or even a final consumer, ordering something from China, and it takes 3 weeks to get here. If the goods are stockpiled in Jamaica, it can take 1 or 2 days. So it's things like that that we are demonstrating to businesses, to companies, and they are taking up that value proposition that Jamaica offers.
The new mode of operation creates more jobs both at the ports and the connecting industrial zones.
Cargo will come out of the port into the economic zones and undergo some form of transformation. That provides work for people in the assembly, it provides work for the technicians, even just putting in manuals in the appropriate language when the camera is shipped out. And that is where you have more economic benefit filtering into the economy.
Through agencies such as JAMPRO, the government has been attracting companies to set up shop in special economic zones. 16 zones have been identified, and as discussions advance with investors, work has started for the build-out of some infrastructure. It begins with the build-out of the Caymanas Economic Zone, spanning some 200 acres of production space in Phase 1 and an additional 1,500 acres of production space in Phase 2. Coupled with the Portland Bight Economic Zone, it will set the stage for thousands of new jobs, initially in construction-related tasks and later in a range of technical, manufacturing, administrative and related posts.
That is where companies will require financial services, accounting services, legal services. They're required to purchase electricity, water. All of those economic activities benefit country. It provides employment.
While people will be working in the industrial zones, assembling or manufacturing products, those products will need to be transported, and that opens up work opportunities for drivers and trucking firms. The special economic zones are replacing what we previously knew as free zones and will be the heart and soul of Jamaica's logistics hub. Just as businesses in these zones will need to meet industrial standards, so too will the workforce.
The other hubs that exist across the world, they have zero unemployment. When you have a situation where everybody is employed, crime goes down. Other social ills are removed. The range of industries which we are targeting, biotechnology, medical devices, paper processing, these industries never existed in Jamaica.
These globally competitive companies are looking for engineers, technicians, value-added providers and others with internationally competitive skills and technological competencies. Jamaicans must, if they haven't already, quickly begin the process of getting international certification to fill the new job openings.
The thing is, in conjunction with training, we have to ensure that the training is certified to international standards.
The Caribbean Maritime Institute, CMI, with its School of Advanced Skill, is working with the local universities to train as many persons as possible and provide the required international certification to meet the demands. The CMI is also offering a special training course dubbed Logistics 101 to increase the public's understanding of the hub initiative. This is accessible when groups or organizations make a request.
So people can go to the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce website, the Logistics Hub Task Force, and you can register for this course. Equally, there'll be a link to the Caribbean Maritime Institute website. So you can go there and register, and you can request the course. As long as you have a cohort, we'll take it to you.
The doors of opportunities are open for Jamaicans to seize the moment to build economic success. To capitalize, local entrepreneurs and job seekers must be prepared and ready, globally competitive for Jamaica's changing industrial landscape.
Mr. God, you know I didn't want to ask you this question a long time. Do you have a JADEP card? You know, if you have a JADEP card, it can save you lots of money when you go to the pharmacy.
Man, certainly, man. I have my own JADEP card, man. I've had it for quite some time now. That's helped me tremendously with my health condition.
That's nice.
Senior citizens on the Jamaica Drug for the Elderly program. Take your card to participating government or private pharmacies that display the JADEP sign. Then collect your monthly supply of approved drugs for the chronic illnesses covered by the program. To know more, call the toll-free number 1-888-GO-JADEP. That's 1-888-465-2337.
Each time you're not paying full attention to the road environment, the greater your chances of getting in a crash like that. Plan routes to avoid focusing on GPS systems, prevent children from roaming in motor vehicles, turn down the volume of car stereo systems, pull off the roadway if you have to use mobile devices, do not read, watch television or eat while driving, avoid multitasking, and keep conversations with other passengers to a minimum. Whether you walk, ride or drive, avoid potentially fatal distractions.
The construction of Highway 2000 is one of government's strategies to link the major commercial towns across the island. The idea is to provide safe and quick access for the transportation of goods and the movement of people, ultimately to improve the business climate and competitiveness. Let's check in with how this phase development is going.
Motorists have been enjoying the smooth surface of the Mount Rossa bypass since August 2014. This section of the north-south leg of Highway 2000 is the result of first-world road engineering practices, some never before seen in Jamaica. To take motorists from Linstead to Monigue safely and quickly demanded the infusion of new construction technology to navigate the difficult hill terrain while maintaining international design standards.
There are different design standards which we try to maintain, such as the radius of the road, how bad the bends are, how straight the road ought to be, the friction of the surface, etc.
The work required moving in excess of 6 million cubic meters of earth material, nearly 400,000 truckloads of excavation. At the end of the process, the roadway was well prepared with several layers of compacted marl and covered with a sub-base comprised of sand, aggregates and cement, which stabilizes the road surface. On top of that goes the asphalt, laid in 3 layers, each 7 centimeters thick. Before getting to the smooth surface motorists now enjoy, construction of this 19.3-kilometer section of the highway posed major difficulties for contractors, China Harbour Engineering Company. The Chinese firm had to contend with geotechnical issues in an area approximately 650 meters along the mountainside. To solve the land slippage and instability issues, the developer refined a design that included the use of huge sheet pile retaining wall, anchor rods and cables to stabilize the area.
You can see a portion of the retaining wall made of sheet piles. The foundation of those piles is about 12-14 meters deep. The length is about 300 meters. And further on my right side, you see some slope protection. This is what we call anchor rod protection. There are some anchors, some cables that are deep inside, about 10 meters deep. They are anchored in the rock when the rock, solid rock is found. They are about 2 meters deep that are holding these blocks. After that, basically some landscaping is going to develop on those little orifices that you see here that provides more stability to the slope that you see along this area. The major structure, however, is that retaining wall that you see down there. There are about 75 piles that basically create a big retaining wall.
We've not been exposed to that prior, so I believe that the transfer of knowledge that we find with our local workforce is greatly enhanced by a project of this nature.
The first-class construction on Segment 2 of the north-south leg of Highway 2000 was not left to chance. The National Road Operating and Constructing Company's Quality Control Assurance Program ensured that the material used and work done met stringent criteria.
When it comes to durability, the concession agreement specifies for the Chinese to operate the highway for 50 years. Now the lifespan of the material used has to be at least 75 years.
We always emphasize that the design have to be in compliance with all the requirements, regulations stated in the concession agreement.
The same attention to detail is being witnessed as government and its international investor work to deliver the first and third sections of the North-South Highway. When it's all done, they expect to deliver a technologically advanced road network that stands as a bridge to Jamaica's economic development.
Government health centers and hospitals have an adequate supply of paracetamols like Panadol and Cetamol to treat the chikungunya virus. Paracetamol in the public health sector is free of cost. For more on chikungunya and the medication, call the Ministry of Health toll-free at 1-888-1-LOVE. That's 1-888-663-5683. Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Tourism is among the top foreign exchange earners for Jamaica. That is only set to expand as government links major resort areas on the north coast with the cultural and heritage sites in the south. One of the many cultural and heritage attractions set to pull more visitors to the country's capital is Port Royal's underwater city. Take a look.
"13 acres of land buried underneath. The calming waves, it's believed, are hiding much of 17th century world history. All this because at 11:43 a.m. on June 7, 1692, an earthquake obliterated Port Royal as it was.
Just imagine what is still there for us to understand and to learn, not only in terms of Jamaica, but in terms of the 17th century world as a whole, where Port Royal was the most important English entrepot in the Western Hemisphere.
Today's generation flock to Port Royal for its delectable seafood. Men boast about the power of the town's oysters. Women skip the kitchen on a weekend and dine by its shores. Children dig into its beach. The seafood-loved town is no stranger to adoration. Known once as the wickedest city in the world, it's a title Port Royal earned at the tips of pirates' blades and on the strength of buccaneers' loot, spent on the wickedly sinful offerings of a 17th century Caribbean life. Lavish and expensive buildings, said to rival those in Europe, existed there. The stories of those who lived there, the life that unfolded in the town, lies in a surreal time warp at the bottom of the sea. There, since the 1692 earthquake took 13 acres of Port Royal down underwater. At least 3 of its forts, James, Carlisle, and Rupert, along with streets and important buildings, were swallowed by the waters. Many questions are left unanswered, and explorations by the Jamaica National Heritage Trust have tried to unravel the clues.
What was clear to us from the archaeological investigations is that now we now know what exactly happened on the 7th of June, 1692. How we know? Because most of the buildings that sank underwater went down vertically.
But a 10-year exploration has only touched 1% of the underwater city. Still, the JNHT is proud of its research, which has uncovered thousands of treasures and human remains.
They built these things, cistern, where they would catch water from off the roof. We were able to link the pewter and where they were making pewter in Port Royal to a man called Simon Bennett. the minute you remove it from its environment, it starts to deteriorate again. So we have a conservation section that deals entirely with that, how to stabilize the artifacts and so on.
Since 2008, the Port Royal underwater city has been listed on the World Heritage Tentative List, having been nominated by the Trust. It is the only underwater site in the Western Hemisphere, with its allure being equal to Pompeii, Italy, that was covered by volcanic ash in 79 AD. Port Royal, once a city, is now a sleepy fishing village pulling seafood addicts and history buffs. But the town, located at the end of the Palisades Strip, at the mouth of the Kingston Harbor, that was a center of shipping commerce in the Caribbean Sea more than 300 years ago, holds the attention and captures the fascination of all Jamaicans. For more information on the Port Royal underwater city, contact the Jamaica National Heritage Trust at the JNHT Archaeology Department at 79 Duke Street, Kingston, Jamaica. Telephone 922-12878 or 922-3990 or fax 967-1703 or send an email to jnht@cwjamaica.com.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller is asserting that now is a good time for businesses in Jamaica to expand.
The business climate is better, and this view is supported by the World Bank, the reputable Forbes magazine, and local business confidence surveys.
The Prime Minister was speaking earlier this week as she toured Lasco Manufacturing's recently upgraded and expanded White Marl plant. She lauded the $2 billion investment, saying it coincided with government's plans to strengthen its relationship with the private sector to grow the economy and create jobs.
This is a kind of bold action that is needed from our private sector partners at a time when our government is significantly improving the climate for investment and business generally.
The Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, is reporting that Jamaica's current account deficit for the financial year ending March 2015 could be lower than the projected 8.8% due to falling oil prices.
It is likely to be in a region of about 6% to 7%, maybe even a little lower, maybe closer to 5%. It means that the NIR is going to build faster than normal. Because remember, NIR is used to pay for oil.
EPOC's co-chairman says a drop in oil prices will also reduce inflation and slow the accumulation of debt under the Petro-Caribe Agreement. Meanwhile, EPOC is expressing confidence that Jamaica will pass the 7th consecutive IMF test for the quarter ending December 2014. As Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips indicated recently, EPOC says all quantitative targets and structural benchmarks for the period were met. The committee's co-chairman points out that the primary balance for April to November 2014 was over $6 billion more than budgeted, while the net international reserves as at December 2014 was approximately $1 billion more than budgeted.
There are two taxes of note that overperformed. One of them is PAYE, which is 1.7 billion more than budget, and tax on interest that is up by nearly 3 billion above the budget.
The Green Paper for the creation of Special Economic Zones SEZs was tabled in Parliament on Tuesday. SEZs will support government's ongoing initiative to establish Jamaica as the logistics hub of the Americas.
SEZs will replace the current free zones and will be promoted and facilitated as a strategy to attract and retain targeted investments, and will catalyze and sustain economic activity across various sectors of the Jamaican economy.
The Green Paper also outlines labor market reform initiatives to attract employment. Human rights advocate Arlene Harrison Henry has been sworn in as Jamaica's new public defender and will begin duties on Monday, January 19. Mrs. Harrison Henry, who served as president of the Jamaican Bar Association, was called to the bar in 1978 and was employed in the public service until 1983. She has served as assistant Crown Counsel in the Attorney General's chambers and later established her private practice, where she gained the reputation of a human rights activist. The former public defender Earl Witter retired in April. The Police Flying Squad and the Organized Crime Investigative Division are to be merged to form a special anti-terrorism unit.
That is to ensure that the two divisions or formations are much more effective in dealing with robbers and organized crime and all those kinds of issues. They are going to be much more involved in anti-terrorist enforcement. They are going to be trained more specifically in investigating crimes that are normally done by terrorists.
And finally, some members of the Jamaica Defense Force, JDF, have begun wearing their new digital combat uniforms, DCUs, which replace the disrupted pattern material which the JDF has worn since 1992. JDF Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Anthony Anderson, says the new land and naval uniforms come with built-in security and identification features, are more durable, and are 50% more effective at camouflaging troops.
As a matter of fact, the old material was becoming more and more difficult to get because most militaries have phased it out. And so in moving to this one, this actually costs less.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. We value your feedback, so keep the link. Tell us what you thought of the show. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or hit us up on Twitter @JISNews. Also, click on our website, jis.gov.jm, for the very latest government information. I'm Theodore Henry. Until next time, take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.